So this is Matt with Metal Express Radio. I have with me Mike, guitarist of Devildriver. How you doing today, man?
Pretty good.
First question I have for you, Dealing with Demons Part 1 was released October 2nd. What kind of feedback have you received?
Overwhelmingly positive feedback. For the most part, I look back and, I think Pray for Villains was the one record that a lot of people were a little bit confused by when we first released it. It was probably our more melodic album compared to some of the other stuff that we released in the past. I think it just took fans time to get used to, and as the years have gone by, I still have a lot of people come up to me and tell me that's their favorite record. But I don't think we've gotten this much positive feedback since we released The Last Kind Words. I don't know what it is with this record, but it felt right when we were recording it. After we finished it, it still felt right, which is not always the case with me. Sometimes when I finish a record, I don't listen to it for a while, or I think it's horrible and I need to take a step back from it. But not this time. This is, one of those moments where a lot of people, have been telling me that this is definitely the best record we've put out in probably 10 years.
And this is the third lineup album, that Devildriver has put out since the lineup changes in the band. How was it writing and recording together this time around?
It was a little bit easier than, the Outlaws record, I don't really look at that. That was just something that we did for fun, and I knew a lot of people weren't going to like it that weren't into outlaw country, but we did it anyway. Kind of like Metallica doing Garage Days. I kind of went into it with the same mentality. When we did Trust No One, me, Neil, and Austin, who were the core writers in the band, not lyrically, we were just starting to get to know each other. We were writing that record. I had already written a good majority of it before I met them, while Dez was doing the Cold Chamber reunion. We got along and we clicked immediately, but now I feel, after like 4 or 5 years of being in a band together, being out on tour, and it being our third and fourth record together, and going in and doing 20 songs, we've grown accustomed with one another, and I think that made things a lot easier. I'm sure Neil and Austin were kind of felt like the guys that had just joined a new club and had to work their way up a little bit and tread lightly, and probably were feeling like they were walking on eggshells with me a little bit in the beginning because, I've been in the band a long time. They had just joined the band, but I just love writing music with those guys. We get along, we never argue, and Dealing with Demons is definitely the most fun record I've ever done, and, it has Neil and Austin are a big reason for that, as well as our producer, Steve Evans.
Any particular song you would suggest a fan to check out first off the new album?
You know what? I've been getting a lot of feedback on the song Dealing with Demons. Getting a lot of friends texting me saying that's their favorite, so I'd recommend that one. That's a good one to listen to.
And given the pandemic, there's been a lot of bands doing live streams by the internet. Would you see Devildriver taking part in anything like that?
We've talked about it, but as of now, there's nothing planned. I'm on the fence about doing it. If we can make it really cool and, there's a lot of production involved, I'd be up for doing it, but it's not something that's on a priority list for me.
And I know the band has mentioned that Dealing with Demons will be a double album. Any idea when Part 2 will be released, or is that still kind of way too distant?
I think originally we wanted to stagger the releases about 6 months apart, but because of the pandemic, that's probably going to change, and, I don't have any kind of answer for that right now. I think there's a good chance that, more than likely, I think that we'll probably hang on to it until we can start touring again, which is what I hope happens, but there's a lot of other people, record label, management, and all other people that are going to have a say in over that decision. Honestly, I don't know. I suppose there is a chance we'll release it. I can guarantee it won't be for at least 6 months. I would say more than likely we'll release it when we can actually go out on tour and start supporting, the music again.
Have you and the band been able to stay in touch and work together during the pandemic?
We haven't been working together, obviously, but we keep in touch with each other fairly regularly. I was just texting with the guys today, and we do keep in contact quite a bit. ago. I think it was the first or second time he left the house since the pandemic started. He has asthma, so he's got to be a little bit more careful than most people. And so yeah, I saw him not too long ago. We had a film. We were doing a rig rundown of our live rigs for some publication, and I got to hang out with him for a little bit. Him and his wife came down, and I have seen Ashes a couple times. Talked to Austin and Dez, but I have not seen them in person since this whole thing started.
And throughout the years, Devildriver has taken up bands such as Death Angel, Napalm Death, Suffocation, just to name a few. Is there anyone left that you would like to take out on tour that you haven't yet?
Well, that's a hard question. Yeah, I believe we might be touring with them in the future already, because I think we did have something planned that got canceled. But I'd like to take Three Teeth out. They're one of my new favorite bands. They're an industrial band from LA, and probably the only new industrial band that I actually listen to these days, because good industrial was hard to find in the 90s, and I kind of see those as the golden age of goth and industrial. But these days it's a little bit harder. But Three Teeth does it right, coming from the standpoint of someone that's been listening to industrial music for 20, 30 years. They have a little bit of a 90s vibe to them, and I just absolutely love them. I've seen them live at least 3 or 4 times at this point, and they just keep on getting better and better.
And also, I know the band has covered everyone from Metallica to AWOL Nation. Then obviously you released Outlaws to the End. Is there anything that you would like to cover with a band that you haven't yet?
Not really. To tell you the truth, I think I'm going to keep away from the covers for a while. I think we've done enough. Not to say that we would never do another cover song ever again, but I don't see myself wanting to take the time to do any more covers. I think we're going to focus more on original material in the future.
So right now, if there's nothing that we've gone over that you would like to throw in, go right ahead.
We're going to get back to touring here as soon as we can, and like we were talking about earlier, we still have the second half of another record to come out, and I'm going to assure our fans that if they like Volume 1 of Dealing with Demons, I can almost guarantee you're going to love Volume 2 just as much.
Now, my last question for you, other than Dez, you are the longest reigning member of the band. What do you see has been the key to Devildriver's longevity?
Dez and I are both very motivated people. We don't like to sit around and not do anything. It's unfortunate that the original lineup of Devildriver hasn't changed so much, and pretty much changed overnight for the most part. Obviously we lost our longtime bass player Miller because, we had to get him off the road because of problems with drugs and alcohol. And then, Berkman wanted to go do his own thing, and then Jeff just wasn't really into spending so much time on the road anymore. But Dez and I have always had a slightly better relationship, I think, because we have a lot of common interests, and our personalities align in some ways that they didn't align with the other guys. And, we enjoy being around each other, We have fun on the road, we have fun on the stage, and we have fun in the studio. And, I kind of feel like if I wasn't in Devildriver, part of my identity would just be deleted. And I think that's another part of all the motivation that keeps us going. And it's always on top of our minds, like, what else are we going to do? This is what I've been wanting to do my whole life since I was 5 or 6 years old, and I'm doing it. And it's not exactly the way I hoped it would be when I was a kid, but even with all the things that turned out to be different, I still love it. I like being out on tour, I like being with my friends, and I like playing shows, and also like writing music. And, I'll just never take for granted the fact that I've been able to be one of the few people that, can make a living from playing guitar. It's a pretty rare, special thing.
All right, Mike, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for your time. I hope down the road that Devildriver can return to Mass. Always a great time seeing you guys, and I really hope that you guys can come on top when all is safe.
Thanks, dude.